Hey, this is D Knight.
This is Carol.
This is Ty.
You're listening to the Pardon the Insurrection podcast, where we're not hopefully laboring in vain trying to get Kamala Harris elected president in November. Speaking of which, happy belated Labor Day to all of our podcast listeners. I hope you got to take it easy. And if you didn't, I at least hope you got double
that
pay.
time and a half.
Yeah, time and a half.
Double pay.
Double
Nice.
pay. Where I work, thanks to our union, I believe we get double pay on most holidays if we do happen to work. So kudos to all the labor organizations out there that are making life slightly better for the average American who has to get out here and slave away every day and can't just sell shoes and Bibles and hats and digital trading cards and also physical cards with their suit if you buy $7,500 worth or something.
Nice.
Yeah, anyway, so it's campaign season. It's in full gear at this point. Normally we'll talk about all of the social or legal issues surrounding the Trump campaign or, the state of the Biden and now Harris campaign. And apparently the number of stories from last week dragging over into this week will try and cover some of that, but we have a lot of developments in terms of campaign events from the Harris campaign. She was out on the campaign trail as of Monday, along with President Biden and Tim Walz. Trump was nowhere to be found. I don't know what their campaign is doing, but clearly they're not engaged in trying to win this election with votes because they're not actually doing anything. All their ground operations have practically come to a halt. They're not spending any money. Laura Trump's supposed to be running the RNC. Instead, she's out here trying to be a pop star.
Sorry. I can't wait to see or hear that.
Yeah, Taylor Slow, as we like to call her, because nothing about her is Swift. But let's take a little peek at what Kamala Harris was up to out on the campaign trail earlier this week. If I can find the video. There we go.
Because, of course, that's the nature of who we are as Americans. We have dreams. We can see what is possible unburdened by what has been. We have aspirations. We have ambitions. And the system that is a good system is one that supports that and allows people the opportunity to go where they can see and imagine themselves to be. That's what I'm talking about when I talk about an opportunity economy. We fight for a future where every senior can retire with dignity. And so we will continue to defend Social Security and Medicare and pensions.
Amen, sis. You tell them. So she's got her policy message ready to go. Of course, it's been truncated for a crowd there. It's an apt speech to give on Labor Day. She's been out there killing it. I mean, like her arenas are slam packed. Again, like, people are making this comparison to 2008 Obama. It's actually crazier than 2008 Obama, just because in terms of the number of people at these rallies, especially like that one in Savannah, Georgia, where, clearly it's surrounded by a bunch of red districts. They didn't have enough room. Yeah, Harris is out here doing a thing. She's not the only one. She was flanked by President Biden also earlier this week, who's out on the campaign stump along with her. I, consider him to be, at this point, her secret weapon. She's got a sitting president and to join her out on the campaign trail.
She'll be a historic pro-union president. Yeah. So, folks, we got one more job to do together. Let me ask you. Are you ready to fight? Yeah! Are you ready to win? Yeah! Are you ready to elect Kamala Harris our next president of the United States of America? And in the process, are you ready to make Donald Trump a loser again?
Biden's funny. I don't know what their relationship was like, early on the campaign trail in 2020, but clearly over the course of the past 4 years, they have what appears to be grown fairly close. Why are you smiling at me like that, Carol?
I was just thinking about how Biden really didn't drop out of the race and how he's dead and that guy's AI and it's deep fake. I was just thinking back to that. You remember everyone's like, he's definitely dead. That call where he called in was fake and no, that's a fake guy now. Everything is AI.
I mean, I feel like they kill him every year, at least once. Because I remember in 2020, like everything shut down because of COVID. So Biden stopped campaigning. In that week, they were like setting up the gear in his house to do those broadcasts from his basement, famously. It was the leftists out there being like, oh, where is Joe Biden? He must have died. COVID must have killed him off or something. And anyway, and then once he won the election, they were like, it wasn't actually Biden. These were the Trumpers. It's a Joe Biden body double. He's not actually the president of the United States.
It's always something. One thing I did notice, like when they hugged, she had her head on his, like that was such a real and genuine moment. It's like he's her mentor in this. Yeah. And you can see the genuine admiration, love, and respect that she has for Joe Biden. It is palpable. It's not. Oh, because let's be real.
She don't let nobody else do no shit like that. If you've noticed, I mean, I know it's probably not it's not anything a lot of people pay attention to, but like that kind of not like intimacy in terms of.
Well, yeah, no, I get it.
But yeah,
familiarity.
Yeah, she doesn't
outside of her family, like outside of
her family, she don't let people like get into her physical space.
Yeah,
like that in that way. And again, like I said, like this is just in terms of noticing some growth between 2020 and now. Like they developed a real relationship. Now I know, Biden and Obama had it rough the first couple of years, because it was readily apparent that Obama didn't pick Biden because they had the best relationship. He picked him because he thought he was like the safest possible vice presidential candidate. And that's, a totally legitimate and understandable reason to choose a vice president. Like, I
mean, rarely do you see, look at Bush and Bush 1 and Reagan. They weren't that either.
They didn't kick it like that.
I that is one thing that is different about the Harris Walz ticket is they do seem to be very
kindred spirits.
Yeah, they are. And I see that, but then who can't not love him? No, I mean, he would wear her down. If she tried to be stone cold, he would have worn her down either way. Anyway.
He is an adorable dude. He would have done it
with a turkey leg and some Doritos. Man. Like, he probably would have crushed those Doritos and rolled that turkey leg in them.
And deep fried it. Yeah. No, he's an adorable dude. Like, I can see, again, after the pick, it was so obvious that he was the right choice that I was like, there was clearly no mistake that she could have made in choosing any other potential candidates on the list, but he was definitely the right one. But yeah, also we have a video of Biden destroying Trump on his union stance that I thought was like, oh yeah, if we had just gotten more of this Joe Biden at the debate, he'd still be the candidate and probably be on his way to winning re-election. But hey, I guess you have one bad day, it cost you the chance to be president.
It wasn't the one bad day. It was the weeks of the hammering of him.
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't, because if everybody had just moved the fuck on, day or two, couple days, and then people stood solidly behind him, then they would have moved on, because they would have seen that it wasn't working. Just like they are with the 50 things they've tried to throw at Walz and Harris. But when they started seeing people falter and waver, they were like, okay.
Yeah, turn into a
They threw the dog a bone, basically. Yeah. And then they took it and ran with it until he dropped out.
Well, this is the Biden that I wish we would have gotten on debate night, but here we are.
She'll be a historic pro-union president.
Oh, wait.
So
that was the wrong one. Hold on, let me try again.
You know what? It may sound crazy, but I honestly think that the way that things played out, however we feel about the way they played out, this is the moment that was supposed to be for this moment in time. Because while people would have stood behind Biden, I don't think that it would have been this type of energy, this type of enthusiasm. And that right now is what's going to get us over the finish line. I think that he basically has set Kamala up for 2028, because I don't know how things would have fared at the end of his presidency moving into 2028 if Kamala would have been where we would be then. This is our moment.
And we'll tackle that in just a second.
folks, we made a lot of progress, and Kamala and I are going to build on that progress, and she's going to build on it. I'll be on the sidelines, but I'll do everything I can to help. So look, I'm not joking when I say, this is not a joke. When I said this when I was running in 2020, a lot of people didn't believe me. You did, but you didn't believe me. It's all at risk because of Donald Trump, literally. With a stroke of the pen, he can get rid of a lot of this. And do you think this guy gives a damn about your pensions? No, I'm serious. Do you think he lose even an instant of sleep over it? Do you think he cares about all the work you do every day and how hard it is? No. Do you think he cares about good paying jobs for hardworking people who built this economy? No. Hell. He regards picket lines. He'd rather cross one than walk one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Right? Spitting that hot fire.
Right?
Yeah, I wish we had gotten that guy a month and a half ago. But so in terms of excitement, I think here's the thing. I don't know what it is about the Democratic Party needing to fall in love with their candidate. I personally am I will just vote for the person who I think is most suited to do the job, which is typically in my entire lifetime has never been a Republican. But I do think so. Biden has advantages, or would have had advantages, that Kamala Harris doesn't. But obviously, Kamala Harris is a different candidate than Biden, and she has advantages in some places where he doesn't. I think in terms of just being straightforward, it would have been a lot easier to convince the same 81 million people who showed up to vote in 2020 and cast their vote for Joe Biden to just show up in 2024 and cast their vote for Joe Biden. Like the psychological hurdle of getting people to vote for a new candidate, it's a real thing. That's why campaigns even exist in the first place. But that's also why, typically in most situations, incumbents win.
Well, it's typically why when I'm supposed to call around for a contractor or anything, if I face the slightest hurdle, I'm pretty much done. And then I'll pretty much always just go with the first one, Or psychological hurdles.
Yeah. Or the one you always call, right? Like once you have an established relationship with one contractor, you're like, well, they did pretty good work.
I'll go a year without getting my hair cut because I just don't know who to call.
I had to get a replacement title for my car and it's only $5. And I could have done it online and just sent it through, but where I registered my vehicle, my Honda, and then my Mercedes, who I've always dealt with, I paid $25 because they're an authorized contractor of the DMV. But I'm just a creature of habit, and I know they've got to make their money, for. But
don't let habit have it. Get out there and vote for Kamala Harris.
So I went with her because I know the service is good. Patty knows what she's doing, etc. So I just rolled with that. But yeah, I get that. But however, the difference in this is it's not like Kamala was manifested out of thin air. She was the vice president. So that did give her some credibility, some cachet, some a
senator, state AG in the biggest state.
And that she has been there. She has been present in the room. She has met with world leaders. She's got that.
And let's not get it twisted. Biden embarked on one of the biggest campaigns to rebuild a country and its economy in the last 100 years. She's been a part of every single meeting, every single decision-making process. Like, she's got experience under her belt in a way that no other candidate would at this point. So it's not that she's not right for the job. It's just the difference between, the incumbent president versus, asking people to vote for a new candidate, even though she's already been on the ticket, obviously. And also, again, racism is a thing. Sexism is a thing. Patriarchy is a thing. It's just going to be a lot more difficult to get people to vote for a woman, specifically Black/Asian.
And that's so crazy because there's right now, there's 30 female heads of state around the world. You know what I mean?
America.
England had Margaret Thatcher before a woman being, and then even if you go back to the monarchy, and it's
they had
Queen
queens.
Elizabeth ruled for 50 freaking years.
Well, she's just because she lived a long ass time.
Queen Elizabeth I and Queen Elizabeth II, and then you've got
second. Well, she just became queen at a young age. That's why she just kicked it so long. But
I think the campaign should try to work both sides of the of her ethnicity. They should also be like, well, the Trump campaign says she's not Black, so they could be like, Kamala Harris, not Black. Donald Trump. Kamala Harris, very beautiful. Donald Trump.
But on the flip side, though, this excitement about the Harris campaign is real. There is real tangible information to suggest that while, some people generally won't vote for her that might have voted for Biden, there are a lot of people who possibly weren't going to vote at all in the 2024 election that are going to come out to support Kamala Harris. Voter registration is up. The polling is flipped. She's now leading Trump in a number of highly respected polls by more than the margin of error. And in swing states, she's, if not tied, leading. So the Harris bump's been real, especially post-convention. She's out here killing it. All things considered,
Harris.
if Biden was going to drop out of the race, this has been the best possible turn of events. And it's largely thanks to, his quick endorsement of her and her deciding to step to the plate and knock her campaign out of the park. Biden wasn't finished there, though. He did have a comment about his role in saving pensions in unions around the United States.
I'll tell you something. Kamala and I are damn proud that we protected the pensions of over 1 million workers and retirees. Remember all those years of promise we're going to do something about it? Well, damn it, we finally did with the Butch-Lewis Act. Over 52,000 workers and retirees across Pennsylvania alone are benefiting from that. Not only did we restore the full amount, we got them their back pay as well. We made them whole again.
I like this guy.
Everyone said
I don't know. I think he could have been president.
Deal.
You don't say. But yeah, so personally speaking, I work for a company where the hourly employees are unionized largely, and Biden saved my pension. So kudos to that guy. Like, anybody out there who says this guy isn't doing anything for the American people is a fucking lie.
Yeah,
I can tell you.
No, you're absolutely right. And he saved the Teamsters pensions too.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He saved their pensions. And so when people say, what has he done for Black people? Unions are a huge factor in the building of the Black middle class back in the day.
Yeah. Well, no, not even back in the day, just still. The unions and government employment.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what pisses me off is that people feel like because he did not say this bill is specifically for you, Black people.
Yeah.
That he didn't do. What do you think lifting children out of poverty is? What do you think the investment in education is when 70% of those in public schools are Black and brown, fighting against the vouchers, fighting for the funding, the fully funding of our public schools. So it's like miss me with that
just
bullshit.
Raising the minimum wage to $15 for federal employees and contractors. That was like, it doesn't say it at the top of the paper, but if you just look at the percentage of federal employees and how I think we're close to 50-50 split, even though we're like, 12% of the population or so, that largely, it disproportionately benefited Black people. So if you're like, oh, Biden's never done anything for the Black community, you would be drastically wrong.
Exactly.
But outside of the Harris campaign, Trump's not been doing too many campaign events here lately. He's been super low energy. It doesn't seem to have the motivation or the commitment to get out on the campaign trail. The media was obsessed with Biden's age and why he wasn't out campaigning more. Now Trump isn't doing anything at all. The media's not covering that. But he did do an interview with Mark Levin or Mark Levin. I'm not sure.
Levin.
Yeah, Mark Levin. I don't know. I'm thinking exact Levin. Anyway,
low energy Trump.
Yeah, low energy Trump. Well, he did do an interview.
People forget he didn't want to do any work while he was president either.
That's true.
No, he largely spent it watching TV, running his businesses, and at his various golf resorts.
Yeah. And when I say people, I mean his voters. Like, obviously, we know he wasn't the best case scenario when he was president was that he wasn't doing anything.
No,
that day. That was the best case scenario.
But so he did this interview on Fox News with Mark Levin, and it just went off the rails totally. It's just a lot of insane comments, underreported by the media, and we've got numerous examples for you starting here.
Whoever heard you get indicted for interfering with...
Let's try that one more time.
Whoever heard you get indicted for interfering with a presidential election where you have every right to do it, you get indicted and your poll numbers go up. When people get indicted, your poll numbers go down.
Well, first of all, that sounds like a confession to me. Going on national TV and telling the host that you interfered in a federal election that you're currently indicted for and you had the right to do it. That sounds like basically confession. I hope they enter that in the evidence.
It's not only a confession, it's also permission. Because they've been screaming that Joe Biden has been interfering in the election with this election interference when it comes to all of his court cases. So, according to Joe,
which is it, dude? Yeah,
every right to do it.
Yeah, so pick a lane, bro. Is it okay or not? If it's okay, then the accusations you've been levying against Biden fall super flat. Also, like he talks about whoever's heard of getting indicted and then your poll numbers go up. Well, sir, your poll numbers are going down. You're now losing to Kamala Harris by somewhere near the margin that you lost to President Biden by in 2020. So you might want to update those polls, sir. Yeah. And I do blame the media for like minimizing the impact of the fact that we have a convicted. Well, I mean, obviously, technically you don't become a convicted felon until sentencing, but he's been convicted of multiple felonies and the media has just totally erased that narrative from the way they present the news coverage on the election. Biden
was old.
It kills my soul.
When's that sentencing? I thought we were going to get it in August.
The 18th?
Yeah, it got postponed thanks to the Supreme Court until September, and we're just a few weeks away from that.